there, level 2. We're on chapter 37. Let's take a look at page 97, go over the glossary. There's a lot of vocab in here because you're about to learn a new kind of verb. But don't worry, I'll get you through it. So, koti die. Koti die. This actually is from quoti die, which is a archaic form. And it also means every day. Okay, so every single day, all day, or every day, daily. You can even see the DA part, right? Ludus, ludi. Now notice this has a D in the middle, not a T. So it's not mud. And it's masculine, not neuter. Again, not mud. And it's singular, not plural, which means it's not the gladiatorial games. It's a school. But the word for games and school are very, very closely related because you're supposed to be playing at school. Profikiski. Profikiski. Just write it down as to set out. I'll teach you all about it today. Wereor. Wereor. Again, write that one down and you should be fine. And then we get to castigo, castigare, castigavi, castigatum. And this is where we get the word castigate from, but it means to rebuke or to reprimand. It's another version of scolding, but it's a little more sharp. Vergilius, Vergilii. This is Virgil. He's a very, very important Roman poet. You're going to read him in AP. Grammaticus, grammatiki. This is a secondary school teacher. Okay, so it's not primary school teacher, it's the grammaticus, the one who teaches you the grammar and stuff like that. Clearly this is a Greek word because you have two M's in the middle. Experitor. Experitor. This is to test someone, as in to probe and see what they know, to see how good they are at things. That's where we get the word experience from. Loquacious. Loquacious. This is you are talking. Okay. This is where we get the word loquacious from. If you know your Star Trek, you might remember that when Captain Picard got stolen by the Borg, he was turned into loquacious. Well. Well. This means or. Okay. Pedagogus. Pedagogy. This is a slave tutor. That's what Euclides was. So it's essentially the private tutor who teaches rich young boys most of what they need. Then they accompany them to school, and then they help them with their lessons at home. And you can see it's a Greek word because it's got a diphthong in it. It's got two G's in it. This is where we get the word pediatrician, actually, because paida means child. So yeah. Ingressus est. Ingressus est. This means he entered. We'll get there. This is where we get the word ingress from. In fact, gress is usually part of a third principal part of a lot of verbs. It usually has to do with going toward or something like that. Eruditus. Erudita. Eruditum. Eruditus aum. This is where you get erudite from. This means learned. Okay. Utilis is a. Utilis is a. This means useful. This is where we get the word utility from. It also comes from a verb, utor. Egressi sunt. Egressi sunt. That means they set out. They headed out. They went out. Profecti sunt. They set out, like headed toward. And then pistrinum pistrini. This means bakery. Okay. And then the bottom there is praefero, praefere, praetuli, praelatum. This is clearly to hold. Fero ferries, to bear or to carry. And prae means in front of you. So you're holding a direct object in front of or on behalf of a reference. So you're holding accusative for the benefit of dative. Technically, that's what we call the dative of advantage. Turn the page. Etiamsi. Etiamsi. I love that word because it's literally etiam and si. So even if. Ad tempus. That just means to the time, on time. Okay. Scriblita, scribilitai. Go ahead and fill this in as being a cheese zombie. And if we have time in class, I would be happy to tell you a story of the cheese zombie. Paulum, pauli means a little bit. Okay, this is basically paulusa but used as a substantive, so it becomes a neuter noun. Yentaculum, yentaculi, this is breakfast. And then lokuntur. Lokuntur. This means they talk. All right. So that's a good chunk of your vocab. Go ahead and read pages 102 to 104, and I'm going to hit the button.